What's going on, everyone? It's time for another show review or film review. Sorry, we're actually going to be talking about Holidays. It's a anthology horror film done by multiple directors, and I'm going to break down each one and give you a review of each one. So, what the directors and writers and all that info like normal. So, yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day, by the way. So I didn't really feel like choosing a specific movie for St. Patrick's Day. So this one has a St. Patrick's Day segment in it. So we're gonna include this as the St. Patrick's Day video for this year. So I know in my last one I said I was going to review In Search of Darkness Part 3, but that will be later on. So let's get to it. So yeah, Holidays, the film anthology film was released April 14th, 2016. And here we go. So the first short is Valentine's Day, which is a young teen girl is obsessed with her coach and basically kills like the high school jock girl and takes her heart and gives it to him. Yeah, she's basically an obsessive one. It's a run-of-the-mill story and stuff. Nothing really new, not really scary. There's some weird like shadow imagery in it, but other than that, it wasn't that great. It was written and directed by Kevin Klosh and Dennis Woodmar, where they both worked on Starry Eyes, Pet Sematary 2019, Woodlands Dark and Days Bewitched, and then Kevin Klosh also did The Bringing, and Dennis Woodmar also did Curtain as well. But yeah, so overall, I give the Valentine's Day one a 1.5. It was pretty dull and stupid, but yeah. But then we move on to the St. Patrick's Day one, which is segment number 2. There's 8 in total, by the way. And this is basically a pagan child haunting her teacher. Yeah, it's this weird, like, child that's, like, menacing and driving her teacher insane. And then you learn of like the child's parents and stuff are part of like a pagan ritual and stuff, sort of like the Wicker Man sort of type of rituals and stuff, and weird things happen and stuff. It was okay. I give this one probably like a 2 out of 5. No, it was pretty dull and boring for the most part. It was written and directed by Gary Shore, though, who did Dracula Untold, uh, The Queen Mary, The Draft, and Ode. So but for the film, it was shot nice, acted well, and overall, it was just pretty boring and bland, in my opinion. And then my favorite one is the third one, the Easter one. Um, yeah, so this was written and directed by Nicholas McCarthy, who did The Regret, The Pact, At the Devil's Door, and Body Cam. But the Easter one is basically a kid wakes up and it's on Easter night, so the Easter bunny's coming, and then the parents like don't see the Easter bunny, you're not supposed to see it. So she wakes up to this really weird mutated humanoid Easter bunny creature, spitting chocolate eggs out of his palms, and then he catches her, and then this one has some pretty spooky imagery and stuff in it too. But and then as he catches her, he's like, "Oh, kids aren't supposed to see me," and then in the end, he turns her into a mutated rabbit, which you don't get to see, sadly. But this one has some really good practical effects, really well lit. It's definitely one of my favorite ones. I really would like to see a film expanded upon this idea, but this by far is the strongest one in the whole film, in my opinion. So I loved it, and the practical effects are amazing, and it's really well done. So I'm gonna give this one a 4 out of 5. Number 4 was Mother's Day, which is just a basic cult story. Basically, a pregnant girl joins a cult, and then they basically sacrifice a child. It was written and directed by Sarah Eden Smith, who did Birds of Paradise, Bastards, Marl Heart, and The Drip, and The Midnight Swim. But yeah, this one was pretty boring and bland. It had some cool color transitions and stuff, but overall it was just pretty dull and not much going on. So I'm gonna give this one a 1 out of 5. Next was Father's Day. This one was basically just a girl walking around listening to a tape recorder of her father telling her a story, and then she goes into the house and like follows the trail as he's telling it in the tape, and you see like a ghostly image of him behind her and stuff. There's some really weird, reminds me of what's his name, guy who did the Haunting of Hill House, his stuff. But yeah, it wasn't really that great. This one's probably one of the weakest ones in the whole thing. I'm gonna give this one a 1. But it was written and directed by Anthony Scott Burns, who did Come True, Our House, Lost Boy, and Flashback. So there's some pretty good talent behind these. It's just they probably didn't have the budget or the time to do a really outstanding one. Number 6 is Halloween. This was written and directed by one of the most well-known guys probably on this, and that's Kevin Smith. If you're not sure who he is, he's the one who did Clerks, Clerks 2, Clerks 3, all the Jay and Silent Bob stuff, Mallrats, Dogma, Tusk. Yeah, he's done quite a bit of like comedy and horror comedy and really weird things. This is basically a story of a weird perverted dude running a webcam like strip club sort of thing, and then he hires a new girl, but then it's Halloween night and the girls aren't making money or anything, and then he falls asleep and wakes up and gets tortured on the webcam by some mysterious force, and then it's revealed later on it's his employees, which is pretty standard and stuff, but the girls are cute, and there's some pretty amusing moments to it, but it still wasn't the greatest. I thought I'll give this one a 2. Yeah, number 7 was Christmas. Uh, yeah, so this one actually stars Seth Green, and he basically finds his kid wants these special goggles, sort of like an early precursor to VR, and yeah, so he goes and they were sold out. The last guy who bought him, he runs into the last guy who had got the last one in the parking lot, and he ends up like having a heart attack or something. So he steals them, and then gives them to his kid for Christmas, and then the kid loves it. He tries them on first, and he gets like a hook or like giving him a blowjob or something, and yeah. But then as he puts it on, he sees like what he did and the guy who was supposedly dead is doing now, and it kind of haunts him and freaks him out, and leads to some unnecessary random killings and stuff, which was really random. But this one I'll give it 2.5 because yeah, all these were shot well and acted well. It's just the stories were pretty bland and waste of time. But this one was written and directed by Scott Stewart, who did Legion, Priest, Dark Skies, and Sweet. So this guy had like tons of good backing, but in credits. But this one was sadly not that interesting. And then finally, we had New Year's Eve, which is basically a deranged Dexter type of story, seeking revenge, and on a date where this weird guy goes on a date with girls and basically kills them and tortures them, and then the same happens to him with this one date. This one was written by Adam Egypt Mortimer and directed by Kevin Klosh and Des Whitmire again. So, but this one was also pretty bland and typical and stereotypical of the films. So overall, Holidays was pretty disappointing. There's like one really good one and 2 meh ones, and the rest of them were just forgettable. Like, I watched this last night and I'm still having trouble remembering which ones were which. Like, I wrote down a whole sheet of stuff so I can remember it all. But yeah, it wasn't that great in my opinion. I wasn't a huge fan of these, and sadly, it had some cool potential, but there's way better anthology films, horror films out there. So I'm gonna give Holidays overall a 2 out of 5. Sadly, but I really want to see that Easter segment into a full movie. That would be sick. But yeah, if you let me know in the comments if you've seen this, let me know your thoughts. Also, make sure you check out my Instagram notes link down below. So I always post clips of films and review in the future on my stories. I have film title hashtags, subject on film, and a hashtag so you're aware of it. Also, if you want to, I'll try to find this on a website where you can watch it for free and link it down below. But if not, I'll link the trailer down below, and it's on Shudder right now, so you can check it out there. Also, but yeah, make sure you check out my Letterbox link down below at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post for first star rating. We have to watch the films. And also check out my Twitter at reviews_Derek. That's where I just post whatever. I haven't really posted on there, but I have it now. So yeah, follow me on those platforms. Stay in with the channel. Like this video, share it to more people aware of it. Comment if you have any films or film franchises in any genre and on any streaming service that you want to hear my opinions on in the future. Comment them down below. Try to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them, make sure you subscribe. Hopefully, find something weird, obscure, and odd that you probably never thought of checking out together. Something like this. Also, so you hear my opinions on popular films that have come out, classic films, and reviews on other things as well. And don't forget to ring that bell because, like I said, we'll probably be doing the In Search of Darkness Part 2 review next. So tune in for that because there's a lot of good stuff on that. And yeah, watch out for all those crazy nightmare holidays that are coming about. Have a happy St. Patrick's Day, and I'll see you very soon. So until then, cheers!